Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of PMP's Den of Antiquities. Today, we got another awesome entry in the Star Wars Perspective podcast. And if you guys are new here and don't know what the Star Wars Perspective podcast is, this is just a portion of my YouTube channel where I find awesome people from all across the Star Wars galaxy get their perspective on Star Wars. And today I have with me, Wes, aka Cal Kestis, which is such an awesome username, by the way, man. Like that, it flows so well. I feel like,
thank you. You have my parents to thank for that one. Good old fashioned dad joke.
Yeah. I feel like every time I look at mine, I'm just like PMP's Den of Antiquities. I'm like, oh my God. I just like the words like coming out of my mouth. I'm like such a mouthful. So
what does PMP stand for? I have a question. Cause like once I saw you, I was like, that's got to stand for something, right?
Yeah. So that's my initials.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Growing up, everybody thought like I had like the coolest initials because they're like, oh, it sounds like pimp. Like it's so cool. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to be associated with that, but thanks for thinking it's cool. And it just kind of stuck with me. Like my business is PMP Creations. So just kind of like it's just my aesthetic essentially is kind of what it is. And then Den of Antiquities is play off Doc Ondar. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was cool.
I love Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, because I like doing a whole bunch of different stuff. Like I'm sure if you've checked out my YouTube channel, like I do the podcast, I do video game playthroughs, we do roundtables, like the whole deal. So yeah, but enough about me. Let's talk about you. What got you into Star Wars?
It was my dad, actually. So when I was about like 7 years old, I was already like a big like Indiana Jones fan and stuff like that. So I was already like familiar with Lucasfilm. Mm-hmm. But one day we were like just sitting around like a lazy Saturday, nothing to do. Yard work was already done, I guess. And, he was like, let's watch a movie. So I walked over, decided to pick out Star Wars for some reason. Maybe it was the Force, whatever. And we sat down and watched A New Hope, and it was just blossomed from there. I loved it. And in that weekend, we watched the original trilogy, just in those 2 days. And it became my favorite thing ever since then. So
nice.
Going on almost 13 years a Star Wars fan. So.
Very cool. Very cool. You mentioned that you were an Indiana Jones fan, and we'll diverge from Star Wars for just a little bit. What did you think of they just dropped that new trailer. What did you think about that?
Mm-hmm. I liked it. I'm a little bit on the fence because this is a rare opinion, but I actually really like the fourth one. I think all the Indiana Jones movies are good. So
is that the Crystal Skull?
I think yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'll like the fifth one, but Harrison just looks so old. Like I don't know. I just don't know if like they're gonna be able to pull off it still feeling like Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, or if it's gonna be like him and then clearly a stunt double. So yeah. I'm a little on the fence about it, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. Go see it opening night without a doubt. So I can't wait.
Yeah,
what about you?
The deep fake. So I would say I'm a loose Indiana Jones fan. Like I've seen all of them. Like I enjoy them, but it's not like Star Wars for me. But man, the deep fake is getting so freaking good. They deep faked young Harrison Ford, and I was like, I can't tell. Like same thing with Luke and Boba Fett. It looked like Luke, man. I'm like, here in the next couple of years, it's just gonna be like indistinguishable. They can bring back whoever they want to,
which is a little scary.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
For like the entertainment business, it's cool,
Yeah. Hopefully it stays there and doesn't branch out anywhere else. I was thinking about this one. I don't know if you've seen it on TikTok, but it's this Asian guy, I guess, that kind of has the same build as Elon Musk. And he does like a deep fake Elon Musk, but he uses his Asian accent. And so you can tell that he's like spoofing off of Elon Musk. And he's just like, look, I have money. You see the money? I have money. He's like hitting the camera with it and stuff like that. It's clearly like a comedy thing, but I was just like, oh no, it's starting to branch out into other people too now. Oh, TikTokers and stuff.
I haven't seen the Elon one, but I've seen the one with Jamie Costa as Harrison, and then the other guy is George Lucas.
Yeah, dude, that's great.
First of all, those are hilarious, but also like they're incredible impressionists. So like if you could find that for like a politician or like the president, the world's over.
Yeah, that might get a little scary. It might have to have some disclaimers or something like that.
Yeah, but, for sure.
if you had to pick one thing about Star Wars, like what's your favorite thing about Star Wars? Like what calls you to it?
I really like the Jedi, but I'm also a big time bounty hunter fan.
Ooh, yeah.
My favorite character is Ahsoka. My second favorite is Boba Fett. So like they just kind of like merge together like that. I'm a really big fan of both those characters, and I actually have like in my room I have dedicated shelves to each one, so I can bow down to my little shrine at the end of the day. But
nice.
But I think when it comes to the Jedi, I just really like how mystical they are. I like lightsabers. Cal Kestis being my channel avatar. It's a big part of like why I'm drawn to Star Wars, but also like why I identify with it so much, and why these characters are so much more than just fictional. They're more what's the word I'm looking for? Role models. They're more like role models than they are just like fictional characters. They have an extra layer that a lot of franchises don't really have when it comes to their characters. And then Boba Fett's just freaking cool.
Awesome.
So, that's what it is for me.
Oh yeah. I just actually last night I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna sit down and rewatch the Book of Boba. So I sat down last night and just cranked it out and watched it while I worked and stuff like that. But I'm curious too, because I'm building a Book of Boba Fett cosplay, and I know you've done one. What kind of inspired that, and what were some of your kind of trials and tribulations, if you had any, building that cosplay?
Well, what inspired it was Boba Fett's getting his own show. So I'm going to lose my mind, and I want to lose my mind inside the costume. Right. It was like the ultimate culmination for Boba Fett fans was like, he's finally going to be the main character of something. So, and I also like really like the look of the Book of Boba Fett armor and like everything. Oh, yeah. It's my favorite look for the character. So that's really what inspired me to do that one.
Him in black is like the best decision they ever made. Like I love the tan, but the black just looks so clean.
It's so sharp. Like it just makes the armor pop. And now that like we know the whole Tusken heritage behind it all, it just does so much more to like make me really like new Boba. I think it's fantastic. And then the trials and tribulations it's a lot of work. Like this is my first time ever doing something like that, dealing with 3D prints and stuff like that. And I'm at a point where like I can wear it all, and like, I can wear it to a Comic-Con or something. I'm actually in the process of like replacing some things. I'm going to just straight up replace the helmet and replace the paint job. And cause I want to do the liquid latex thing where like you can chip it away and it looks like actual metal.
Yeah.
So when the Book of Boba Fett came out, like watching it for the first time, I was not sold on it. Like, cause it's in Mando, like you get an idea of this new character archetype for Boba, but you don't really like get the chance to dive into it and understand what his motives are. And at first I was like, dude, this is so not Boba Fett. Like, he's not killing people. He's not doing awesome things. He's just kind of like sitting around and like letting people walk all over him. But it wasn't until the finale of the show where I could see it all and just be like, oh, I get it. I understand why they're doing this. I understand this new Boba Fett. And now I always go back and forth. I love old Boba where he's this Clint Eastwood, gunslinging, killing machine. But I also love new Boba where he's just older and wiser and just more decisive on what lives he decides to take, because like we saw with Chrysanthemum, they can become tools, and he just seems smarter now. Like where Empire Strikes Back Boba and Return of the Jedi Boba, he was kind of like an unhinged animal. And in this, it's more of like he's an elder with a really good set of shots, so you better watch out. But and then one of the tribulations is if you're doing new Boba, you'll probably run into it too. Being a skinnier guy, people will constantly tell you that you are cosplaying the wrong character. So dude, that's something that you're going to have to deal with.
That's so annoying. I'm just like, dude, it's cosplay. It doesn't like your age doesn't matter. Your height doesn't matter. Your gender doesn't matter. Like if you just want to cosplay, go cosplay. Like have fun.
I agree. I agree. It's for me, like Boba always being one of my favorite characters. It was a passion project. It's not I'm not entering into the 501st, it's just like, I just want to have some fun, show my passion for a character. And that's what that was all about.
I think yours looks pretty good from the, I know you've done some like some TikTok stuff with it. Like I've seen it on TikTok and I think it looks pretty good. Like I didn't really see anything like super. I mean, I didn't like go through and like really analyze it or anything like that, but from at face value, I thought it looked great.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
What kind of got you, we kind of jumped the gun, or I did, with just jumping right into Boba just because I love Boba just like you love Boba. But what kind of got you into like cosplaying? What made you be like, oh, I need to cosplay. I need to be a cosplayer.
I don't really know, actually. I think it was just like I've always liked making custom action figures or like custom props. When I was younger, I would always like, if I got a clone trooper, like a little 3 3/4 inch one or whatever, I'd paint it up, make it my own Legion, make it a Wolfpack Legion, whatever I wanted to do that day. And so for me, it was just kind of like the next thing of, instead of painting the action figure, I become the action figure. And it was also like I said before, a new way to, have an outlet for the characters that I had a big passion for. And when Cal Kestis came along, I was like, I can actually kind of become that character because I look like him. So thank you, God.
And that's a good segue into Cal Kestis, because I know you do the Cal Kestis cosplay. Did that come before the short film, or was that after the short? Like you got the short film and then you built the cosplay, or did you already have it beforehand? No.
So in the Foretelling, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. I want to preface this. He was in a fan film called Kestis. And I just want to, I want to tee that up. Also, the link will be down below for that if you guys want to go check that short film out.
So what happened there was I didn't have the Cal Kestis cosplay. I actually just got that a couple months ago.
Oh, okay.
Because I was so busy working on Boba, and then I was like, well, we have a fan film coming up. My channel is literally based off of Cal Kestis, so let's, get on brand a little bit more, Wes. And so I decided to go with that and weather that and, try to make it as screen accurate as I could. But when it came to the Foretelling, it was a couple of college students. At the time, I was actually in high school, trying to make a Star Wars project. So we had like $100 budget for the entire thing. And so we just threw it together. The poncho was literally made at my grandma's house. It's a tablecloth from Goodwill that I made stencils for and spray painted like the white designs on it. Mm-hmm. And then my grandma like stitched it up and made it so that it would look like a poncho and it would fall the right way. And
shout out grandma.
There's weights in the sides of the poncho so that it kind of falls on the shoulders, and those weights are literally AA batteries. So it's just kind of like everything is just kind of kit bashed together.
That's awesome.
And then I just decided, like, why am I doing this? Let's get a legit one. Now that's not how Cal will look in the sequel to the Foretelling. It'll be another kind of like original look for Golden Guy Pictures, but it will definitely have some inspiration, and some pieces from that cosplay will be used in it. So
very cool. Very cool. So how was it kind of, fan films are something that I have always interested me, and I've always wanted to know more about it. How was that your first one? And like, how was that? Like, how did you approach it? Like, did you just like, oh, I'm ready, let's do it? Or did you need some practice or anything like that? Like, how was it kind of going into that fan film?
I definitely had to practice. It was, so Zach, you've interviewed him on your channel before. He's actually like one of my best friends ever in real life.
Nice.
So I work with him on a lot of stuff. If he's making, anything, I'm probably in it, Star Wars related or not, because he just like always needs extras, always needs actors. And so the Foretelling, while I had acted in some of Zach's stuff previously, the Foretelling was like my first time really like trying to be serious and like take on a serious role and impersonate another person's portrayal of a character. So I guess what it was like being Cal was I had a lot of weight on my shoulders just because you're entering into one of the most controversial, and I don't want to say like toxic, because I don't think it's toxic, but I will just say that for simplicity's sake. The Star Wars community can be somewhat toxic. So I didn't want to like go into it and like just have nothing. So I did have to do a lot of studying. I read the script multiple times, played the game Fallen Order multiple times, just trying to be as well equipped with Cal as I possibly could before stepping in front of the camera and trying to impersonate him. So, and then on top of that, like getting to work with like a crew and stuff like that was all so cool. Like, especially when they're professionals and they know what they're doing. So you can be like, I have no idea what to do here. How should I move? Or, let me know when I'm doing something wrong or doing something right. And they'll just be like, yep, hey, Wes, fix that, fix this. And so that was another thing that made it really easy and also really fun because everybody knew what they were doing except me. So I didn't really have a whole lot of pressure on set.
Nice. Okay. Kind of segueing from the short film, I'm sure you were, since y'all were best friends, you were probably one of the first ones to know that you guys are doing a sequel. How excited are you to kind of continue to do the character and kind of throwing back on the poncho? I know you said no poncho, so to speak.
I am hyped over the moon for it. So Cal in my top 10 faves of all time, character wise. And, like, not only that, but like I've read the script. I know what's happening. It is so cool.
Nice.
There is a character that will be returning. Oh, I almost said something. Holy crap. I almost said something. I think Zach's going to use it as a marketing tool.
I can cut everything out. So it's all good.
No, you can include this. Zach will use the character as a marketing tool. So
very cool.
Before the fan film comes out, you'll know who it is. But without saying anything now, I think it's going to draw a lot of eyes. I think the second one is going to be bigger than the Foretelling by default. And yeah, I think it's going to be sick. I think you guys are really going to like it.
That's so cool. While we're on the topic of Fallen Order, what did you think of the trailer, man? That trailer just dropped like last week, like a couple days ago, something like that. So
it was amazing. I love, I have a PlayStation, so Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if you have a PlayStation.
Dude, I don't. So I'm trying to get a PS5, but I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet. I want to, man.
Okay. When you get one, highly recommend it. It is a fantastic game. Like, beautiful graphics, beautiful everything. But the best thing about it is the gameplay and the swordplay. Because you're like a samurai, and when you fight different enemies, you can switch like your fighting style
nice.
to like combat the proper enemy and stuff like that. And it looks like they're doing it in Jedi Survivor, because you see Cal switch between like double sabers and then the cross guard, which is so sick. And then like, just everything. The only thing I wish we would have seen is, we know he's going to have a blaster and we know it's going to be a part of like the gameplay, but we didn't see anything with that. So wish we would have seen that. But the story elements for Survivor look also interesting as well, because whoever's in that tank is, a intrigue point on its own, but also like, we don't see Marin, we don't see Grease, we see Seer, but only for a brief second. And it seems like Cal and Seer have kind of grown apart a little bit. So I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Cameron Monaghan, I think is his name. He went on stage saying he thinks it's one of the best Star Wars games of all time. So
that's some big shoes to fill right there.
It definitely is, but I think he knows what he's talking about. So I hope that I can agree with him on that.
Heck yeah, dude. I mean, the first Fallen Order game was amazing. So I'm excited to see what they do. Do you know or have any speculation of who that guy is in the tank? I ask everybody I've talked to about it, and everybody's like, I don't know.
He's definitely a new character. I don't think he's like a Legends character being brought into canon or anything like that. And if I had to make a guess, me and Zach have talked about it, and we think that he's from the High Republic, because they're doing a lot of stuff with that in like the books, and we know the Acolyte is going to be set in the High Republic. So it kind of makes sense to start bringing that stuff into video games and live action. And then on top of that, you actually see him twice. So you see him when he's being dropped out of the tank, and Cal has that data card thing in his hand, right? And then there's a second part of the trailer where when Cal is going against those two bounty hunters, and one of them has like that fork electric prong staff thing, the big one, and he's like, a Jedi, that guy. And you see him interacting with a pale light-skinned character with the white hair, And I think that's the same dude.
I think so.
Because he's holding the same like card and stuff, even though he looks super different. So I think, and if you look at his robes, it's kind of like the regal, like gold highlights, very fancy looking Jedi robes that we see in the High Republic stuff. So that's my guess.
Very cool, man. I'm excited for that cross guard, because it looks like it's almost like a great sword or something like that. Kind of very like medieval. Like, I don't know if maybe it was just the effect of him swinging it, but the blade to me looked longer in the process of him swinging it. So I wonder if it's kind of going to be more of a kind of keep your enemies back sort of weapons, and it hits really hard. But yeah, I'm glad. And it looks like too that they're not one thing that I think video games do a lot of, and they're starting to kind of shy away from it, is there's some conflict at the very beginning of the game that like strips the player of like all of their abilities. So you have to like progress, and you can feel like a level of progression. To me, it didn't seem like that in the trailer. Like, he seemed like he could still like grapple swing and do all that stuff. Like that he could, I guess he couldn't like grapple in the first game. It seems like they're kind of still keeping some of the stuff from the first game that you've learned, and you're going to have it kind of at the beginning. At least that's what it seemed like to me. So I'm glad they're kind of doing that, and they're just adding on to it, you know? What, I know we're kind of hopping all over the place, but if you had to, now that you kind of have, I would assume you have 2 cosplays. Do you have more than 2 cosplays under your belt, or is Cal and Boba the only ones you have?
Cal and Boba are definitely my main ones. I would say Cal is my favorite, just because I can actually like sit down and be comfortable. But I also have like a Clone Wars Jedi one that, Nick Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Gauntlets for. And it's like my own original character. His name's Goran Piros. And,
very cool.
Yeah, he's kind of like a temple guard mixed with like a season 3 Clone Wars Jedi. He has like a yellow lightsaber and stuff. And
yeah, I'll have to have you send me some pictures of that, because I don't think I've seen that one.
Sure, yeah.
But what would you suggest to people who kind of want to either step into A, their own original cosplay, or B, go after a character like Cal or Boba, or whoever they like?
My first piece of advice would be do what you want. Don't listen to what other people have to say, because 9 times out of 10, if they're saying it, they're probably wrong. For some reason, people just like to be negative. And then it is also like, don't rush it. Like, don't take the time, make it to suit your needs, to suit how you want it to look, so that you're actually happy with it. Because I do see some people on TikTok where they'll have like an armored character, and they don't really sand it, or they don't really, use the Bondo or whatever technique you want to use and make it look realistic. And there is a big difference. And maybe that's how you want it, nothing against you. But there is a difference in the way that people talk about their cosplays when they're proud of it, and when they're just like, I'm wearing it, because Star Wars. So, and it is noticeable, at least to me. I can see when people feel a little bit insecure in their costumes because they don't think it's as good as the person 10 feet away from them or something. So take the time, make it how you want to make it. It is not a quick process, depending on what you're wanting to do. Another thing is like, don't be afraid to take risks, especially if they're reversible. It's experimentation, it's learning new things, it's playing with new techniques, because you're prop building. And, if you don't think George Lucas did that making A New Hope, then you're wrong. So have fun and, play with new ideas.
Oh yeah. If you guys haven't seen, also, if you has well said, but if you haven't seen the Industrial Light and Magic on Disney Plus, and you're looking for some inspiration, holy crap! Because when you said George Lucas and all the people at ILM and stuff like that making that stuff, I mean, talk about geniuses, dude! Just putting stuff together in the 70s, like holy crap. So now I'm probably going to ask you sometimes I say it's the hardest question. For some people it is, some people it isn't. But starting from the Phantom Menace to Rise of Skywalker, you can throw Rogue One and Solo in there, or any of the TV shows if you want to, or you can just stick to the Skywalker saga. But name something that kind of is important to you from each film, or something that you like from each film.
The Phantom Menace is probably the pod race scene or Duel of the Fates.
Both classic.
They're both just iconic to that film, and they're so fun to watch. Attack of the Clones. probably I Don't Like Sand or Obi-Wan versus Django. I think Obi-Wan versus Django is such an underrated fight.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's got Boba Fett in it. So I dig that. Slave One forever, baby.
It's Boba Fett's starship, man.
Yeah, no thank you. You can take that and leave it. I don't want none of that. Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan versus Anakin, Order 66. I mean, those two, just the best, really. And then I'll go ahead and throw Solo and Rogue One in there. Rogue One, my favorite scene is either the opening, like with Galen Erso and like all that stuff. I think that is so cool. And all the Death Troopers like walking up, or like Darth Vader at the end is also sick. Solo, the Kessel Run, easy, such a cool moment to see. A New Hope, maybe like the Death Star escape or something like that.
Ooh, yeah.
Or the beginning where like Obi-Wan is talking about the Clone Wars and like what it was like to know Anakin. I feel like watching it for the first time, it's not as cool. But watching it after you've seen everything and like having all the context for that scene, it's a really dope moment. Empire Strikes Back, my personal favorite movie.
Nice.
I love the asteroid field chase with the Falcon and the TIE fighters and stuff. And then I also love the carbon freezing chamber. Just like set wise, probably one of the most brilliant looking sets in all of Star Wars. Like, so
the
iconic.
mood and the lighting in there, it's
and like
glorious.
The steam coming in and like the drama, because it's like a big moment for our heroes and stuff, and it's just like chef's kiss. And then Return of the Jedi is definitely Luke versus Vader, because that remains my favorite lightsaber duel of all time, and just like the emotion and the music, and just it's Return of the Jedi is the best ending to any story I've ever read. Like, it is just or seen or anything. It is just the perfect culmination. And then probably my favorite scene of all time in anything Star Wars is Luke leaning up against the tree, seeing Hayden,
so iconic.
Obi-Wan and Yoda there. It's just, dude, it's so hard not to tear up every time I watch it.
Luke's my favorite character, so like that scene, I agree. It gets me like every time. Just like, oh man, it's like such a good way. You're right. It's like it's such a good way to end it. You know,
it is perfect. It is perfect. Force Awakens. Probably the scene with Kylo and Vader's helmet and that whole conversation there, because big Kylo fan, as you can see, there's a magnet.
Oh, that's cool. It's like flickering, right? Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, it's like a Black Series thing. It was like a canceled line, but like it looks like he's freezing the blaster bolt and stuff.
Yeah, it's epic.
Big Kylo Ren fan. He's right after Boba Fett on the character listing.
Got Kylo Ren in the horizon for the cosplay?
Definitely.
Nice.
But one of my favorite things about Kylo, kind of sidetracking for a little bit, is the idea, like the out of universe perspective on the character, that everyone's going to automatically like compare him to Darth Vader. And the fact that JJ made that a part of his character, of like he never feels like he's going to be good enough in universe, I think it's just amazing. So that whole conversation between him and like Vader's spirit is just, it's just masterful. It's such a good scene for the character. And then The Last Jedi, probably either the throne room battle with Rey and Kylo, or the scene in the beginning of the film where it shows Snoke's conversation with Kylo and how he's kind of like taunting him and like, you are nothing. Like, again, like fans talking to Kylo in universe as well. And that part where he smashes the helmet. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of that because the helmet's dope. It really is. But that's where you really see Kylo's character take form. And Adam Driver is such a brilliant actor.
Oh, so he's great.
Why would you hide his face behind a helmet the whole time? I don't know. Love Kylo.
In my opinion, too, like the red and Rise of Skywalker, like I think it's cooler than the original. So like I'm all for him smashing the helmet, because the glowing cracks and stuff look sick.
Oh, it's amazing. It's so cool. And dude, I love that little monkey creature that like puts it back together.
Right.
He's so cool.
He needs his own short story.
Yeah, for real. Well, apparently he's like actually a Knight of Ren or something like that.
Really? Okay.
I think he's like a member, or like he works with them a lot. I think I remember seeing something like that. I could be wrong.
He could like make all their weapons or something. He could be like a forger. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And then for episode 9, probably like Ben Solo's transformation. Like when he sees Han's like spirit there from Leia.
Oh, gets me every time. Like
that whole moment. And just great.
Have you seen the edit where he's like running and it's to I Need a Hero? He's like running in an hexagonal. Dude, gets me every time. He's like, I need a
like right when he jumps, it's like that.
Yeah. It's so gold. Good. Whoever made that was goated for sure.
Yeah.
Well, all right. And so there was one thing that I actually wanted to talk, because we both have an affinity for Legos. How was it like doing that Lego series, man? Like, I don't know what you can talk about and what you can't talk about, but like, to me, that was like, I was like freaking out. I was like, dude, that's so cool. Like, how was that?
Thank you, man. It was probably one of the best experiences of my life. So, all of it's out. It came out on November 1st. And it was like this tutorial series for younger audiences. I think the targeted demographic was like 8 to 12, boy or girl, just a young kid who was looking for a way to do more with their Legos. Because I think when I was talking to, so the guy that designs the box art for Lego Star Wars sets was actually like the head honcho of that whole operation in Los Angeles. So I got to talk to that guy, and he was kind of like in charge of everything. And he said one of the issues that he noticed with Lego Star Wars products and why they wanted to do this was because kids are forgetting that Legos are toys after they're built. Like, you're supposed to play with them after they're built. Like, the building the Lego set is not the entire experience. It's only part of it. And so I was like, interesting, because when I build Legos, I put them together and I put them on a shelf and I look at them. I don't really do anything with them. And so outside of like photography vlogs and stuff, which is one of the reasons where I got like contacted and, hired for the job, I guess. But it was just, first of all, super surreal. At the time, I only had 700 subscribers. So I thought I was getting scammed when I got that message from the official Lego account. Like, I waited a day before responding because I was like waiting for some kind of news on, hey, our account got hacked, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, where is that news at? This is real. And so like I talked to the person and they were like, yeah, we wanted to contact you and blah, blah, blah. So just amazing circumstances that just happened to fall in my lap, and small little 700 subscriber channel getting chosen to work with one of the biggest companies in the world.
Dude, that's so cool.
It is like it was a big push for me to like want to try to pursue monetization and become like a full-time YouTuber, because it was like, at the time it was like, yeah, 700 subscribers, but like, it's not really going anywhere. Like, I'm not doing anything with it. And that was like the biggest push in the butt to like get me going. And like, now I'm trying to make channel investments and take it seriously, because this is what I want to do.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah. If you guys want to check that stuff out, LegoStarWars.com. So all you got to type in, and my face is on the homepage, and you can look at all the tutorials and stuff like that we did. So
yeah, I also have all like his links down below too. So if you guys want to go check out his Instagram page, YouTube, all that stuff, like, you guys can go check that out down below.
Thank you.
Dude, so many cool things. I was like, you got the short film, you got the Legos, you got the Boba cosplay. I'm like, dang, man. I was really looking forward to this interview. To kind of wrap this up, I like to do this thing called Mynock Minutes, where I just lob a whole bunch of different, like, would you like this or do you like that? Who would you be in the Star Wars universe? So if you were in the Star Wars universe, and I'm pretty sure I know what your answer is going to be, but who would you be? Would you be a Jedi, Sith, bounty hunter, smuggler, Mandalorian, any of those?
I'd probably go with Jedi.
That's why I was like, I had a feeling.
Yeah, just because like, you're a good person. You're not prioritizing greed. You're not doing anything like that. Now, if I didn't care about any of that stuff, I would totally be a bounty hunter. Heck yeah. Like, steal some Mandalorian armor off of somebody and go the full Boba Fett route and just blast people left and right. But, I try to be a good person, so I'll go with Jedi.
I feel you. If you were trained by a Jedi Master or a Sith Lord, who would you want to train you?
So I actually did a Q&A video not too long ago, and someone asked this question, and I landed on Anakin because Ahsoka being my favorite, but also like I love Anakin's, especially in the Clone Wars, like his attention to detail. So you feel like he's actually a good master, but on top of that, he's compassionate and he's caring, and he cares about Ahsoka's survival, and not only that, but like her well-being. And I feel like that's always important in a mentor. So I'd probably go with Anakin, and then he just seems fun too. Like, yeah.
Well, I think his adaptability, like we saw it, throughout the Clone Wars TV show, and then also in Tales of the Jedi. Like it was just like, it was so beautifully done how they showed all that, and like how Ahsoka could survive all these different, like going up against Grievous and Ventress, and surviving Order 6. Like, I think you're right, man. I think it's just like, he'd probably be like, if it wasn't him, that there's very few that would be, I think, as good as him, just because of the way he thinks. He kind of thinks outside of the box,
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to use a Jedi because you said Jedi. If you were a Jedi constructing your lightsaber for the very first time, what style lightsaber would you want, and what colors, depending on the style, would you want?
Well, my 3 favorite lightsaber hilts of all time are Obi-Wan's from The Phantom Menace, because that was my first toy lightsaber as a kid.
Nice. The fold-out one? The one where you could flip it?
Yeah, you press a little button down and like you flick it out. My second favorite is Cal's. So I got this NeoPixel here from Padawan Outpost. So dope.
So cool. I
love the shroud on this. And then also Kylo's. So if it were up to me, I would love to have Cal Kestis' crossguard lightsaber from the new game. Like if I could just have that, and then you put Phantom Menace Obi-Wan pommel on the bottom with like the little spiky ball.
Okay.
That's my dream saber.
I'm vibing with it. And then what color would you want?
Blue.
All right, classic.
Blue all the way.
Yeah, I was talking to some friends, and I was like, I never really understood the green lightsaber. I was like, yeah, green's cool. And then I got like a NeoPixel, and I was like, maybe I understand green now. I turned it on, and it was just like, it's like my life like flashed before my eyes. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm still purple forever. Like purple's my go-to, but
purple's sick.
But green, there's something about it. I do like blue, but I like the it's kind of like cyan blue, like the lighter version. Like we don't really see that a lot in like the games or in the movies or anything like that. It's more of like a darker, but that light kind of like almost, it's not baby blue, but it's like kind of in the middle. I kind of like that one. That one's cool.
Yeah, they had a crystal for it in Fallen Order. Is that what you used?
Did they? I'm trying to think. No, I definitely use purple because I'm purple all the way through. But yeah, I think that was it's been a minute since I played Fallen Order. They did, right? So you had a couple you could pick from, right?
Yeah, when you go to Ilum, like after you have the vision with Jaro and like Cal crushes his saber and stuff, and you go to Ilum and you get the crystal, you're actually able to like turn his hand and it changes color. So it has like 9 or 10 different colors. Right.
Yeah, that's so cool. That was I was hoping they would have that in the game because I was a big Force Unleashed fan. Like that was like my kind of thing. And the fact that you could like pick 50 different lightsaber colors and like kind of have like the Kylo Ren like Furiosity like exhaust vent things, and like that was cool. But
yeah.
What if you had to pick your top 3 favorite? They don't have to be in any order, but what are your top 3 favorite characters?
I touched on this earlier, but Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Kylo Ren, in that order.
Very cool. You did say that. I remember.
Top tier.
If you had to bring a force power into real life, but only you could have it, what force power would you want?
I feel like the push would be fun because it's practical, but also like you can throw someone into a wall. And then this would be for more nefarious purposes, but Kylo's like mind probing is so cool. And I feel like I could totally work for the government or something and like be an interrogator and just be like, boom. So that'd be cool too.
Nice. All right. So we're going to create your Star Wars family. You're going to get a Star Wars mom, a Star Wars dad, a best friend and an arch nemesis. And we'll start with the mom and dad.
Okay. My mom is probably Ahsoka just because she's caring, she's compassionate. She's a great teacher, like we saw with Grogu in The Mandalorian. I just think she'd be a great choice. Dad? Boba. He's strong. Nice. You know, he's a good image of like a masculine figure. He can teach you how to be tough, how to take a hit, teach me how to fight, all those things. Plus he's got a cool set of armor that could be mine when he passes away. So like, boom.
There you go.
And then I had a brother and a sister choice, right?
Best friend and an arch nemesis.
Best friend and arch nemesis. Best friend, BD1. Easy.
Okay. Very cool.
And then arch nemesis. I don't know. Maybe like the Grand Inquisitor or something.
Ooh, okay.
Because he's like strong enough to where it'd be an interesting fight, but weak enough to where I could eventually, overtake him. It's not like Vader, where like I just never win.
No chance. Yeah. Vader's a tough one for sure. And if you had to live on a Star Wars planet, what Star Wars planet would you want to live on?
I love Zepho. So
okay.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's got like there's a little bit of snow, but like you can still see the grass. So it's like cold and stuff like that. I really like cool weather for living in Florida. It's not supposed to work that way, but here I am sweating my balls off in December. So yeah, I love Zepho. I think it's beautiful. I think it's got a lot of history, connection to the Jedi. And yeah, I think it would be really great for the stuff that I do on my YouTube channel. So like a photography vlog on Zepho.
Right.
Dude, it's freaking beautiful. So.
Nice. And then the final question I'm going to ask you is, if Lucasfilm called you up and they're like, Wes, we need an idea for a movie, video game, whatever you want to pitch them, whatever genre you want to pitch them, what story would you pitch them and what genre would you want?
Well, I'm a big Clone Wars fan. So I would think probably something in there, but I also really like the idea of going like way in the future.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not the biggest sequel trilogy fan, but I would like to see Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo. I'd love to see all those characters again. So I also think it would be really cool to, cover Rey as like an old Jedi master and like have her with a student group that she's training. Finn's a Jedi. I think that could be really fascinating too. I think I'd like to build a story around that.
Okay. And then what would you make it a movie, TV show, video game? What would you like to see that made in?
I'd probably go with TV show for the sequel trilogy plotline. Cause I don't know if it would be a trilogy, maybe just kind of like a 6-episode, 8-episode season, just a mini series, kind of like showing us a glimpse of those characters. Cause it is a controversial decision. And not everyone's going to want to be on board. So a smaller budget and a smaller group of eyes, I think would actually benefit that story more.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, man, thank you so much for coming on and talking Star Wars with me. Let the good people know where they can find you at.
So I'm Cal Kestis on just about everything. On YouTube, I think it's just how it is on the screen. But on Instagram, it's Cal_Kestis on Instagram, TikTok. And I think that's all I'm active on. And Twitter, that's the other one. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. And I'll have all those links down below for you guys. And thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, may the Force be with you.